This guy is not only scary to look at, is also scary to play against. It took us like
6 attempts to beat this guy.
And if you want to find out how to beat this guy, watch till the end of this video.
So we got our tiger gang ready.
Oh, that's good. We're ready to prowl on that Dekar.
Yeah, and we obviously didn't record. I mean, we did record, but we're not showing you all the failed attempts. But just so that you know, we failed 5 or 6 times, I think. And then finally, we managed to get it done.
But don't blame us. This is hell.
This is hell mode, and this is really hard. So the setup that we have, so we got 1 tank, 1 support, and 3
DPS.
Yep. So Nooks is our tank.
You're our support, and Red Moon M, that's me, and my mummy Queen LA is the DPS.
Yep. So the tank is using a Guan and Guan and Alex, and rest of us I think are using XY and Keira. So Keira became very useful. Now let's talk about how to actually go about defeating this boss. So you will see that on top of everyone's head,
you have a fire or lightning side. Lightning stays with lightning and fire stays with fire. And you see those little thingies? We have to fight them, otherwise a circle comes and we are crushed.
Yep, so those little totems, when they come on, you need to make sure the fire ones goes for one and the lightning ones goes for the other one. And you have to avoid that circle because that circle has a lot of damage. Now, if you don't defeat those little totem looking things,
it covers the entire map and everybody goes boom bye.
So, and there's that little snake thing that comes out, or big snake rather. That's pretty scary, but that doesn't do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
What does do a lot of damage is if the fire guys and the lightning guys
mix up, that also is boom bye.
Yeah, that's actually boom and half of your health gone and you probably die. Now, the first part was rather simple. So you separate into fire and lightning.
That changes. So there's a skill that triggers and it changes. The boss also says something about fire and lightning. That's the sign.
That's your trigger.
Yeah, that means it's gonna change.
So it's not like your fire and your lightning forever. They change and you have to change position as well. Now, this is the worst part from my end.
Yeah.
So you have a green fire about to come out, and before that, there are some signals to say where the fire is gonna go and what's gonna be the rotational cycle, so clockwise or anti-clockwise. So you need to stand in a empty space, so you can't
be in the red
cones. So
at this time you also can't be with your other thing.
That's very important. So what M is trying to say is you can't, even during that critical stage, you can't mix fire and lightning, because that's when you still get half health again. So you still stick to the lightning and the fire the whole time you're fighting this boss, but when those red things come, the circle and the green fire, you need to avoid being in the reds, and you try to follow the circles.
Okay,
now
here's an interesting part. So there's squares above
the chessboard came up.
Yep, and you have to stay in the empty spaces.
And when staying on the empty spaces, again you need to make sure that the fires and the lightnings are standing separately. So at this moment, Queen and Ladus kind of got into the same box, and see how there was a burst, and then we both lost some health. Now, M, what's happening? How come there's only 4 of us?
Yeah, I died in the first flamethrower.
Yeah, that flamethrower, green fire flamethrower thing, that's very critical. So you stand on the empty cones and you follow the fire, and that's how you avoid being in the fire. So you try to follow the fire and you go in clockwise motion, right? I think I was okay. This is here again. So I'm trying to stand on the empty one. Yes, I'm standing on the empty one, and you can see with the arrows you can see the rotation, and I'm walking towards the fire. That's how I think I'm avoiding the fire, because where the fire took place, it's not gonna happen again, and it's going in a clockwise motion. So we did manage to avoid it. And Queen LA and Ladus, both of them being the same icon at that time, both was fire, so that was easy. And then now we obviously split because we are separate icons.
I think the lesson of this boss is empty is good, never in green or red or whatever color.
That's very important, very true. So we are sticking on the empty ones, and as you can see, the fires are together and the lightnings are together. We are moving towards the empty boxes again, and then the lightning guys are playing quite smart. They're avoiding being together, but then unavoidable Nukes and I got stuck together. I don't think there was a burst, but Queen LA is stuck. No, there was a little lag. So, not easy, is it?
No.
Especially when we're doing it 4 people rather than 5 and trying to carry little M.
I'm sorry, but the flamethrower is really hard.
The flamethrower is really hard. Now, is there anything else important here? So, the support character is very important. Those hills coming up or coming down from the sky, those hills saved us quite a bit. It's very important to make sure that you're doing your heals. So, if you're the healer, you can't use your skills on anything else other than heal only.
Yeah, because so this boss makes us die a lot and lose our health, so that heal is really important. And that flamethrower bit that's
very critical. Now, speaking of the flamethrower, after you tried 1 or 2 times, I think you get a sense of the motion of the flamethrower, and that way it's easier for you to avoid.
And you get a hang of it.
Now we are struggling a little bit to keep us separated, the lightning and the fire, but we did manage to do it again. So now I can see that there's only 15% left.
But the
chessboard is here, and our health is at a critical stage now. So it even at this stage we are not sure whether we can make it. But then all 5 or 6 times that we tried, I think most of the times we tried till the end, just so that we get to know the boss a little bit better.
Fun fact. Did you know that when I died, I was watching the screen like crazy, and I was saying, go up, straight, side. I was going like that in my head.
I didn't do it on my own, so I had my little instructor, my little coach next to me, and she was telling me, go up, go down. Ladus, what are you doing?
No, I was actually telling the up and down to Queen on the other side in my head, and Ladus, what are you doing was actually to you.
So in terms of the marches, guys, so if you have X, Y, and Keira, that's a good choice. If you have Khan and Keira, good choice. If you have Khan and Alex, not a bad choice. So Guan and Alex being tank, usually for Ceroli is pretty good, but for everything else, as long as you have more Alex and more Keira, especially Keira, that definitely helps quite a lot.
Yes, and Ladus flamethrower, hope you paid attention.
I did. Now with Keira, the reason why we are saying Keira is obviously because Keira has that special attack bonus versus set bosses such as Ceroli.
Yeah, because Keira is a Ceroli character. You get it from Ceroli.
Now we are down to 3 characters. Ooh. And I did something stupid, and I was standing next to the lightning guy, and I took some health of him. But my heal is ready. Let's put on the heal.
Healing time.
So, clutch healer. Now we are not going to go for the totem now, I think, because we only have 2% left. So maybe it's better not to at this stage go for the totem, just kill him off.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head.
Because I actually don't know when he enrages, because you know how some of the boss enrages, but this one didn't enrage, and we got the victory.
Yay!
So you guys know how to go about this boss now. For the rest of the bosses, we're just gonna do it in 2x speed.
Yeah, but we still like to show you the others because it's so fun to watch. Ceroli.
Yep, it's a good fun event, to be honest.
But Dekar is a crisis.
Dekar is a crisis. Dekar wasn't easy. Now, in terms of these bosses, we are going with the same settings. I'm not too sure why Red Moon went to Khan behind his XY. I think he
Yeah.
went because Khan and XY obviously does pump out a lot of damage, but then I would probably still say Keira is a better choice for this.
Yeah,
so with
because
this
Keira's-
boss, Keira has that special talent. So with this boss, the main thing you're doing is you're just hitting her until this is Frida. So you're just hitting Frida until Frida's health come down quite a bit, and then there's that freeze that comes in.
And you have to get out of the zone, otherwise you literally die.
Yeah, and then there are those red circles that come, but if you're in late game, you probably don't have to worry about the red circles. You just stand and deliver, and that way you do the boss faster. Now we were trying to see if we can do it before the boss gets frozen. I think we brought it down to 12%, was it?
Yeah, it was 12. I think we could have done it if everybody brought a Keira.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Keira and Alex, I know I'm repeating myself, but Keira and Alex very good for this. And especially if you're the tank, then taking the Guan probably makes sense as well. And all of us used to use Khan before, and we are switching to XY. Even though my XY isn't maxed, even at 5 something, he's probably a little bit better than the Khan. But either way, this is the easy boss. All of you guys have seen this before many times.
If you watched all of our other videos.
Yeah, but then I actually thought we keep it in the same video.
Look, we defeated it!
Yeah, so I thought we keep it in the same video just so that if anyone wants to use this as a guide, then they have a full picture of how to do every single boss.
Yes, so now it's time for the boss Keira itself.
Is it?
Yes!
Oh, okay, yeah, let's go. Let's do Keira. Now, Keira, do you like Keira more, or did you think, what was the other boss? The one that's Wafura?
I obviously like Wafura more, because Keira, you know that veil thing?
Yeah.
It was so hard.
Initially it was, but nowadays, now that we have better commanders, it got a little bit better. So this time
Yeah,
around,
but the-
I am actually going for a slightly different march. I think I'm going for all archers, Nebu and Keira.
Yeah, but why a Nebu?
Just because it's all archers. Now, what's happening on the screen? So we got the arrow. So
That means you're gonna explode.
so you gotta walk away, and then now when the bubbles come, you just have to walk into the bubbles. So it's better to try to get into the same bubble, but then sometimes it's harder because of the distance and all that.
Yeah, because the bubbles always pops far away.
Yeah, so now Keira's health is quite low, and we kind of got used to doing this boss many times. That's why I think some of us are not bothering moving around when the burst thing is there. But if you're in early game, or if you're using less powerful commanders, you
Obviously.
should probably walk away.
Okay, now it's time for Torgny. This was also a boss we used to struggle.
Once upon a time, yes, when he first came out, but somehow it got easier. So with this boss, actually, to be honest, with almost every single boss, we're using the same combination. We got 1 support, 3 DPS, and 1 tank. Only for
Ak and
HoK, I think we need 2 tanks.
Yeah, because there's 2 bosses.
So basically, we are going with the recommendations that the game initially gives us at the top. Now with this one, what's happening? So as soon as you got an arrow, everyone needs to walk close to the arrow, and then that little lohar looking thing pops, and you have to kill the lohar as soon as you can, and then you stand in the bubble.
Yes, and those little boom things, those happen 6 times, keep a count. And right after that, there's that also little circle that you have to get out because it deals a lot of damage.
That is very important. So summarizing, 6 times that boom happens, and after the boom you don't start hitting the boss, you walk away because there's a radius burst that happens, right?
Yes.
Yep. And then you'll notice that most of the times we have the tank standing on one side and rest of us on the other side. That's quite important as well, because some of these bosses that does triangular shape forward facing attacks,
and those do some damage, quite a lot.
Yeah, and why take unnecessary damage? So this one nowadays, again, it's a little bit easier because we understand it a little bit, and I think the difficult one, Dekar, is gonna become easy as well as we get used to it. But
hopefully.
But to be honest, it was a good change in having some bosses that are rather challenging, and you have to be on top of your game and quick fingers and move and all that.
Hey, Ladus, remember the time we had to do the bosses 3 times each?
Oh my god, that was so painful. Thank god now we have more bosses and less times to do each. One time is enough. Saying that, I do miss Wafura a little bit because I think Wafura was a bit more challenging because you actually had to move around quite a bit as well. Remember the crisscross shaped things that used to come?
I think Wafura is easier than Keira. Remember? We used to hate Keira, the boss, not the commander.
I think they made it easier as well. Okay, so that's down as well. Now, what are we going for next? I think we only have one left. HoK.
It's HoK. 2 DPS tank, sorry.
I actually like doing not Wafura, what is this? HoK quite a bit.
Yeah, because you and I are on the same thing.
We're on the same team and there's a bit of coordination in it, as in how we go about it. I know that you can go to the corner and kind of do it, but that kind of doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So the way we're doing it is probably better.
So one time I was doing it randomly and they went to the corner and I was like, what are they doing? I'm not used to this.
So that is the easier way to do it. I think you put one boss on top of the other and you take all AoE commanders, but we're just used to doing it this way, and I think this is the easier way of doing it anyway.
Yeah, because you take damage from both boss.
So what we do is we split up into teams so that we're each hitting one boss and we try to stay away from the other boss, and we switch when the sun and moon switches on the bosses as well, just so that we are not getting damage from both. So if you have the sun debuff and the moon debuff,
it just gets too much.
Yeah, then you take a lot more damage. So we're doing the switch now, and I think one of us decided not to because only 5% left on the boss. M is actually standing on top of me, so yeah, so that's done. Now we finished all 5 bosses. The other bosses, the last 4, didn't take too much time. The first one took us like more than an hour, I would say, with all the attempts.
Looks like we're at the mall. Time for a shopping spree. So we bought those 2 equipment material chests, the speed ups, and the golden keys. And you also bought the teleport. And that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification button so that you never miss a video.